Here to announce that earlier today, we obtained a warrant for Henry J.R. Del Rio. He was charged and indicted by the grand jury this morning in connection with the August of 2015 murder of Ashley Berryman in Everett. Mr. Del Rio was charged with first-degree murder, assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon, a firearm, attempt to commit assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon, a firearm, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, as well as carrying a firearm, a subsequent offense. We allege that on August 13th, Mr. Del Rio fired his gun into a crowd outside the Brazza Grill nightclub in Everett, striking and killing Ashley Berryman, where she stood outside. Ashley Berryman, known to those who loved her as Penny, was a completely innocent victim who was caught in a hail of gunfire. Those actions ripped her from her then 3-year-old son, as well as her other family and friends. Her family has waited over 8 years for the answers as to what happened, and the community of Everett, left shaken and afraid by the fact that this took place in a very public place, now knows the circumstances of what took place as a result of the work done in this case. And we know that in the early morning hours of August 13th, there had been a concert at the Brazza Grill. Ashley Berryman was there because her then boyfriend was one of the performers. After the event, the concert goers had gathered in that parking lot. Also in the parking lot was Mr. Del Rio with a group of his acquaintances, many of whom, like him, were allegedly associated with the Chelsea-based East Side Money Gang. Just before 1 a.m., 2 men who were not involved in the concert, had not been in attendance at the event, came to the area and got into a verbal argument with an associate of Mr. Del Rio's in the parking lot. When that confrontation was over, that being a verbal argument, it was over, they had separated. Del Rio allegedly drew a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol and fired 9 times into the crowd. He continued to fire as those 2 men that had been in the argument turned and ran. He hit one of those men in the feet and ankles. One of those bullets struck the back of Ashley Berryman, fatally wounding her. Additional shots became lodged in a city sign, a wooden city sign, smashed through the front window of the Rite Aid pharmacy, which is across the street, and also became embedded in the roof of a parked car. Investigators were quickly able to identify multiple witnesses who saw the defendant in the Brazza parking lot at the time of the shooting. They also learned that the defendant in the days following had brazenly told people that he had engaged in that shooting and that he was responsible for the shot that had killed Ashley Berryman. But to compound the tragedy of what had taken place, there was an intentional agreement among those associates to conceal the truth of what had happened. They also engaged in conversations about the disposal of the murder weapon. That firearm has never been recovered. You know, when we began our cold case unit in this office in 2019, the purpose was to get to the place where we are today, to be able to provide answers for families and communities that have waited a very long time, to begin the process of holding people accountable for what happened here, this tragedy, and to clearly send the message that if you come into Middlesex County and you engage in this violent, predictably tragic behavior, we will not forget, and we will not cease looking to get to the results. This case reflects not only the tragedy of a young mother who lost her life after going to a concert, but it also reflects what happens when people have firearms on the street and they are brazen enough to just begin shooting into a crowd of people. There's nothing surprising about what took place here. What is surprising is that more people were not hurt, given the number of times that this gun was fired in a city that is extremely densely populated. Mr. Del Rio is currently being held in federal custody. We expect that he will be brought to the Middlesex Superior Court in Woburn perhaps as early as Tuesday for arraignment. I want to commend the cold case unit, Dave Sollett, as well as the Everett Police, the State Police, the Chelsea Police Department, and the ATF. This case represents an enormous amount of persistence and work to get to this result, and we are very grateful. We've had an opportunity to speak to the family. Obviously, they are relieved and grateful to be at this place, and they have asked, as they process all of this information, and particularly in light of the age of Ms. Braverman's son, who was then 3 years old, they are asking that you respect their privacy during this period.